Should I induce unconsciousness? Dear young friends, I wanted to tell you this story to unite us in realizing the ideal of universal equality. Now the turning point has come. I will save you. I will make you perfect. At the age of telephones, I desire to subject you to the lessons of George Orwell. Listen a little. Beauty is meaningless until it is shared. Hunger, poverty, and disappointment are the unchanging law of life. It is not war that is so terrible, but the world that follows it, a world into which we fall like a swamp, a world of hatred and slogans. There are political stars. It's a free show. The use of eyes is free. Napoleon is always right. This we know again. Christianity is certainly not an incurable disease. At a time like this, under the chestnut tree, the Lord sold me and I sold you. In the presidential election, thank God, there were no rotten eggs, but we still fall many times. There is nothing wrong with that. The key is to get up one more time. Food for thought. Food for thought in a world that rushes on. Strength lies in slow, steady effort. Not all progress is visible, and that's okay. What's difficult is good. I'm convinced that even one person doesn't see the results. Van Gogh said, being part of minority, even a one-person minority, doesn't make anyone crazy. There is truth and there is falsehood. But as long as someone insists on the truth, even against the entire world, they remain normal. Normality is not a matter of statistic. If both the past and the external world exist only in our minds, and the mind can be controlled, what then? Think about this, brothers. Without humanity, there is nothing. The primitive spiritual life, as I interpreted it, at the most important moments of your lives, after all, it was only a fleeting charm, and it passed like an April day. But what dreams it awakened? When the blue water reflects the blazing colors of nature, you can touch the sky with your finger. On the farm, animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. Power is not a means to the end. Power is the end. War is peace. Ignorance is strength. Freedom is slavery. In this life, nothing was yours except those few cubic centimeters looked under your skull. Man cares for no great creature's interest, only his own. Let there be complete unity among us animals. George Orwell said, complete brotherhood and solidarity in struggle. All humans are enemies. All animals are brothers. Perhaps what man desires most is not so much to be loved as to be understood. Man's most dangerous enemy is the nervous system. Man is the only creature that consumes without producing anything. He produces no milk, lays no eggs, is too weak to pull a plow, cannot catch a rabbit. Yet he is master of all animals. He drives them to work, allocate minimal amounts of food so they don't starve, and keeps the rest for himself. So orthodoxy means not thinking, not needing to think. Orthodoxy is unconsciousness. I'd rather be a lone wolf than a groveling dog, Orwell observed. If you want to know what the future will be like, Imagine a boot stamping on the human face forever. In the face of pain, there are no heroes. By obeying trivial laws, one can break great ones. Don't you rejoice in life? Doesn't it bring you joy to say, this is me, this is my hand, this is my food, I exist, I truly exist, I live? Doesn't that bring you joy? Indeed, in the game we play, we cannot win, but some losses are after all better than others. In philosophy, religion, ethics, or politics, 2 plus 2 could equal 5. But when it came to constructing a cannon or an airplane, the result had to be 4. Everything happens in the head, and what happens in everyone's head happens in reality. Brother, don't you understand that the primary goal of newspeak is to narrow the scope of thought? Eventually we'll reach a point where thought crime will become physically impossible because there will be no words to commit it. Year by year there will be fewer and fewer words, and the scope of consciousness will become narrower and narrower. Words and actions mean nothing, only feelings matter. Therefore, until consciousness unites them, they will never rebel. Until they rebel, they will never become conscious. Since we have chosen to be free people, we must equate life with death. If we wish to preserve a secret, we must hide it even from ourselves. Leftism is a kind of masturbatory fantasy for which the world of facts has no significance whatsoever. It's never been much better or much worse. 4 legs, good, 2 legs, bad. There are things, your own actions, from which you can't recover. Something inside you dies, it's burned out. My dear, but don't lose hope. Sooner or later, everyone is cured. In the end, we'll definitely shoot you. George Orwell had mentioned. The masses never rebel on their own, and never just because they're oppressed, unless they have a standard of comparison. They don't even realize the oppression. Isn't it true, then, brother? Is it as clear as day that all the evil in our lives stems from the tyranny of man? By obeying trivial laws, we can break great ones, I said. Meanwhile, the earth whispers stories of faith, hope, and eternal journeys. So all is not lost. Sometimes people think that women don't take fat people seriously, but that's utter nonsense. The truth is that a woman takes seriously any man who manages to convince her that he loves her. I've just been through the night and no one greets me. And I've been working hard to find those immortal gates, those lost gates. I've just been through the night and no one will ask me, how did you do? I've been through the night, I say, and I'm tired. I haven't been visited by a faun or a guardian angel, unless it's with the sight of a mosquito, a grasshopper, a firefly, or a fly. My dearest, one can live in books and thoughts. One just has to say to oneself, I am a free man. Oh, here. In the early 20th century, a Scottish farmer was returning home when he suddenly heard cries for help coming from a bog. Rushing towards the source of the sound, he found a boy trapped in the bog, fighting for his life. The farmer quickly out a branch, reached out and pulled the terrified child to safety. The soaked and shivering boy thanked his rescuer, but insisted he had to get home. his father would be worried. The next morning, an elegant carriage pulled up to the farmer's modest home. A well-dressed gentleman stepped out and asked, "Did you save my son's life yesterday?" "Yes," the farmer replied. "How much do I owe you?" the man asked. "You owe me nothing," the farmer replied firmly. "I only did what anyone should do," but the gentleman persisted. Finally, noticing the farmer's young son nearby, he proposed, "If you refuse the money, let me give your son an education in London. If he is as noble as his father, none of us will ever regret this decision." Years passed. The farmer's son studied diligently, graduated from medical school, and became the discoverer of penicillin. His name was Alexander Fleming. On the eve of World War II, the son of this same wealthy gentleman fell ill with severe pneumonia. Penicillin, discovered by Fleming, saved his life. This gentleman was named Randolph Churchill, and his son, who lived to become Prime Minister of Great Britain, was named Winston Churchill. Perhaps these were the events Winston Churchill had in mind when he once said, "What you give always comes back to you." My dear, yes, we have already built a better society, but our mistakes are taking their toll, as every intelligent person dies, though not from lack of penicillin, but from fear, and life will go badly again. Once again, man cares for no creature's interest, only for his own. Besides, it's practically irrelevant what the masses think, because they represent a zero level of intelligence. Orwell said, even though they may enjoy freedom of thought. The past accompanies us constantly. Suddenly, some random sight, sounds, or smell, especially smell, sets the machinery in motion. And not only does the past return to you, you yourselves fall into it. Obedience is not enough, because until someone suffers, can you be sure they obey your will and not their own? Power is about humiliation and inflicting pain. Power means tearing minds apart and reassembling them according to your chosen model. Progress in our world means progress in pain. The distinguished feature of man is the hand that does all evil. There is war in which, even if military equipment is not destroyed, its production is a convenient way to occupy the labor force without producing unnecessary consumer goods. Brother, sister, what's the point of sense to you when I eat dinner? I don't do it for the greater glory of God. I do it because it pleases me. The world is full of delightful things. Books, paintings, travel, friends, everything, wine. I've never seen any meaning in it, and I don't want to see any. Why not take life as it is? All we can do at this time is to use the word fascism a little more circumspectly, rather than, as is usually the practice, demoting it to the rank of an insult. Demoting. I think we truly die when our minds die, when they can no longer accept anything new. Youth, charm, allure, energy, and the joy of life vanish in the blink of an eye. From the age of sameness, from the age of loneliness, from the age of double think, I greet you. May God's blessing warm your life like the sun. May it be so this evening.